Hello, welcome to the Real Internet Come Forth YouTube channel. My name is Antonette Smith and I am your author. I pray that everyone is staying safe in this ice storm that has looked like to me swept the nation. As you can see, I'm not in my regular filming location. I went out of town a few days ago and it started icing and snowing. And so the highways are shut down. So with that being said, I'm staying put. I'm staying safe. I do not have my reading materials with me because I planned on being, where I usually film. But I do have the questions that was sent in to me. So I will be answering those live. Okay. So remember to get your books, get your books, get your books, people. They are on sale. We are going to continue with this book series, The Real Internet Come Forth, and we are on volume number 4. Remember that the month of February, we're going to be on volume 4, which is by far the longest volume of The Real Internet Come Forth, the book series. It's titled The Addict, Drug, and Sex Addiction, age 18 to 26. So get your books and keep up with me or read ahead of me so therefore you can have questions to send in to me. And also to the 8 people that won my new book, My Jesus Experience, Our Journey. The bookmarks are in. They are ready. And as soon as I make it back to Mississippi, I will pick them up and I will get your books shipped out to you. So thank you so much for your support and tuning in live or watching the replay of the different videos that I post. So thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that is a supporter of my work, of my books, and to my writers. I announced it last week. Continue to watch the different videos that I will be uploading to this channel. How to write a book, how to get your book published, how to have a successful book signing, and then I will be uploading more videos titled Intro to Workforce, Intro to Business Management. Seminars that I usually teach under my empowerment ministry. Since I'm not able to teach them personally, I am going to teach them online. So I pray that I will continue to be a blessing unto all of you. Okay, then let me see. So we're going to get started. Excuse me. On the questions for this week. I'm not going to hold you long because it's early. And like I said, I'm in a different location. So I got to do things while it's quiet. Okay, so I have 4 questions for this week. The first one is from Illinois. And they said, how long was you in relationship with your children's father? Who ended the relationship? So they want to know how long was I in a relationship with my children's father and who ended the relationship. I was in a relationship with my children's father for 21 years or better. I say exactly 21 years because we broke up, got back together. But when the relationship was finalized, it had been 21 years. And he ended the relationship. He left. Again. But this time I was just done. I told him if you leave this time that it was going to be over with. And so that's what happened. So he initially left the relationship. He left the marriage. So I hope I answered your question, Illinois. 21 years and he left. All right. The next question is from Oregon State, Nigeria. And they said, since you have your freedom, what happens when you unexpectedly visit a location from your past, like where you use drugs or the retail market where you used to steal items for drugs? What is the first feeling that hit your mind? How do you feel? Okay, this is like a lot of questions in one. Okay, so it says, since you have your freedom, what happens when you unexpectedly visit a location from your past, like, where you use drugs, or a retail market where you use to steal items for drugs? Okay, I'm going to answer that first. When I unexpectedly visit a location from my past, which is Illinois, because I moved from Illinois 18 years ago. When I don't have a planned trip there and I just happen to just go there for emergency or something like that, I don't, I'm more uneased. I'm more uneased because it's not like when I schedule visits. Okay, so let me better explain that. When I go back to Illinois, which is where I was born, which is where most of my heartbreak, heartache, pain, all of those things took place. Since I left 18 years ago, I schedule the times that I go. I schedule how long I'm going to be there. I schedule the places that I would go. I schedule the people that I would see. And I do that because I know that I use drugs in those places. I know that some of the people that I used to use drugs with or hang out with or sleep with or whatever are still there, or I probably may run into them. And I try my best to keep myself out of temptations. You understand what I'm saying? Like we always pray, Lord, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. But you have to be responsible of the places that you go. You can't get delivered from drugs and then think you're going to sit around and hang around people that still use drugs, smoke, drink, all that kinds of stuff, and think you're going to stay clean. You know, you can't go around your ex-lovers and boyfriends and ex-boos and stuff like that and then think you're going to keep your body pure. It don't work like that. So, that's how I pattern in my life. I try to schedule where I'm gonna go, and when I unexpectedly have to go to these places, I'm a little on edge. It makes me pray even more. I mostly try to fast before I get there, which I always do, just to get my mind in the focus and to in a place to say, okay, even though I didn't plan this trip, and I'm here now. I still don't go to different places. I still don't come around certain people. I call my family ahead, and a lot of times I just don't go. I just don't go. It has been a lot of different deaths in my families, a lot of different emergency situations that come up, and I just don't go. I just don't go. I don't put myself in those situations. I tend to let my other family members deal with a lot of different things because I'm not gonna put myself in a dangerous situation because I do love my freedom and I value my freedom. Not saying that if I do go that I'm gonna use drugs or fall into sexual sin, but I just try not to put myself in those positions. And as far as the retail stores, from what town is it? Maybe from Shabance, Illinois, all the way to Rockford and Skokie, I can't go in any stores. I can't go in the store. It's only one store that I can go in, and that's in Kankakee, Illinois on Court Street, the convenience store. And that's because I used to sell them stolen merchandise. But all of the gas stations, department stores, Walmart, Target, the mall, the grocery stores, I can't go in any of those stores. I was barred out of all of those stores many, many years ago. And even some of the stores that I was barred out of, they've since gone out of business. And when I go back home and I see that they went out of business, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad because, I used to say, well, I didn't steal from a person, because I wouldn't personally steal from people and steal people items. Because I'm like, they have a limited resource. They have a limited supply. But if I go to the department store or something like that and steal, they going to always have whatever I stole the first time. So, but then the Lord had to correct me. You were still stealing from the people because every time you stole something out these stores, the prices was jacked up. A lot of people went out of business, and so I began to understand that I caused a lot of people more harm than I really thought. So I still can't to this day, and it's been 18 years. I don't go. I remember the last time that I got arrested. Which was the final time that I got arrested. And they had sent my picture out all over Illinois. because I was going from city to city, hitting different stores, the same stores. And so they sent out, my picture and a notice, and they had it in every security, counter, office in these stores. And so I remember when I got caught at Walgreens, stealing for the last time. That was the last time that I actually stole out of stores at Walgreens. I was trying to steal baby formula. And the first one is the man, when I walked in, he said, "Come and let me tell you something." He said, "Get out this store." He said, your face have been flagged all over. Just don't do it." And I didn't believe him, and I left there and went to another one, and then got caught. So I just remember that. And I know that I have caused a lot of problems for different store owners and things like that. So I still don't go into their stores. I try to walk the line of obedience now, so I don't go. And I go home. I used to go home. Whenever I go home, I don't go in any stores. I don't go in any stores. I go to one restaurant and go through the drive-thru, or I can go in that store and I, go to Po' Boys or whatever and get me a Italian beef, which is my favorite sandwich. And that's right next to the convenience store that I can go in. So those are the only two stores that I go in, and that's sad. But those people probably, have already forgotten about me, but I haven't forgot. And so, like I say, out of obedience, I still just don't go. So I hope I answered that question. Let me see the other question. They said, what is my first feeling and what hit my mind? What do I feel? Like I said, if I unexpectedly find myself in those situations or have to go to those locations and to my hometowns and stuff like that, as for emergency, I immediately remember the pain that I caused people. And I immediately remember what God delivered me from. And I begin to be grateful because I look at a lot of people that I, knew and grew up with and went to school with and, lived by and stuff like that. And their lives haven't changed pretty much at all, some of them. And I just thank God for deliverance even the more. I thank him that I can lay down and go to sleep in peace. That I can have a hot meal and he's afforded me the opportunities that I can go and come when I get ready. And I thank him even the more for the life that he have given me now. I'm very grateful. It makes me very more grateful. It makes me more humble. And it helps me want to do more and to inspire more. And to see how really bad off I was, because when you're not around the people that you was in your addiction with, when you're not around your family that you was initially around, and you move to a new location, you start a whole new life, you tend to, you don't forget, the way you was, but you really don't know the depths of how you was. You don't know the effect of what you caused to people. You understand what I'm saying? Because now you're seeing clear. In those times, I was drugged out, and everything. And so I really didn't. I know I hurt people, but I didn't really know that I caused a lot of problems like I caused. And so when you get to go back home, to where you come from, you're humbled. You're humbled. You're grateful. But I still don't fool around. I don't fool around. I don't stay too many days. 3 days, my max. If I can get away with 2, I'm going to do it. Hope I answered your question. All right. The next question is from Lagos, Nigeria. And it says, since you have experienced the lockdown of oppression, of drug addiction, the lockdown of jail, the lockdown of abusers, what are the things you can offer people that find themselves in your past situation? Oh, okay. So since I have experienced the lockdown of oppression, of the drug addiction, the lockdown of being in jail, the lockdown of an abuser, what are the things that I can offer people that find themselves in my past situation. The very things that I can offer people that are in a drug addiction right now is don't give up. Don't give up. It's just a human experience that you walking through. Get to the bottom of what is causing you to use drugs, because we use drugs because it's a mood altering substance. You don't like the way that you feel, so you take something to alter the mood that you in. You want to feel happy, you want to feel joyous, you don't want to feel depressed and oppressed and anything like that. So you use drugs and alcohol to try to pick you up, so get to the bottom of the problem, the issue that's causing you to use drugs, that's causing you to drink and smoke and all of these things. You're gonna have to do a deep search within yourself. You're gonna have to get serious about your life. You're gonna have to make the decision to say, I want to live clean, I want to live free, I don't want to get up looking for drugs, I don't want to be addicted to anything. You got to make that decision. No one can make that decision for you. People can tell you all day long, oh, you don't need to use drugs kill you. People that actually killed themselves or overdosed from drugs or in prison for life for having drug addictions or whatever. But you have to make up your mind that I don't want to live like this anymore. You have to do it. You have to do the work. You have to be the one to say, I'm not going to live like this no more. I want help. I want to get out of this, and I'm going to stay out of this. And every day when you wake up, you have to make that decision every day. Am I going to live clean today, or am I going to fall back into my old habits? And it's about your mind. Once you begin to change your mind and your environment, you may have to leave where you grew up at. You may have to leave where you living at. You may have to go to a whole nother city, a whole nother town just to get free, because you can't change from being addicted to drugs and then think you're going to still hang around the same people you was getting high with. It's just a matter of time before you fall again. And some people, they do stay in the same town. I wasn't one of those people, because I would stay clean for so long, and then I have a bad day or I have a bad mood or something like that, and it was just easy to come. Even when I wasn't even thinking about getting high, somebody show up at my house, with some drugs or something. So you have to take personal responsibility for your actions. You have to take personal responsibility every day and make the decision, am I going to live clean today? Am I going to live free today? It's a daily decision. And if the days get too long, break it down into hours. If the hour get too long, break it down into minutes. But it's up to you. And as far as being in the oppression of jail, I was in jail. The longest time I was in jail was 51 days. I've been arrested many times, but I've never stayed. I've never been to prison. Being locked up is not for me. Okay? And when I seen that, these people put me in jail and they hold me without a bond, like I done killed somebody, I said, oh my God. And I would just cry and cry. And they would have to put me on the psychiatric unit because I wouldn't stop crying, because I don't like being confined. Jail not for me. It's not for me. So I had to change. I had to change from what was making me to go to jail. Driving without a driver's license. I was arrested for that. Not going to court. I didn't have no real serious charges. I had a background. And once they seen in my background that I had been arrested for attempted murder and unlawful use of a aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and all that stuff, then they immediately think that I'm dangerous, and then they lock me up and I don't have a bond because I usually have warrants in more than one state. I listen, whatever's causing you to go to jail, let it go. It wasn't for me. Some people can go to jail and get out, and then they stay home for a few weeks or whatever, then go right back to jail. It is not for me. But I tell you one thing, when you in there, you hear everything, you think about everything, you begin to really see the things, the mistakes that you made, because your mind get clear, because 9 times out of 10, you probably was on some type of drugs that ended you up in jail. And when those drugs begin to come out your system, you begin to say, dang, when I get out of here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you have to do it. And then we begin to pray, oh Lord, if you get me out here, I ain't gonna ever do it no more. And I made that same prayer too. And my thing was, Lord, if you ever take this drug habit from me, I promise you I'm not gonna ever come out. You ain't got to worry about me no more. And I stayed with that. And I took it in fine. I'm gonna leave. I know they supposed to have me on some type of probation. I know I'm supposed to be seeing a probation officer and all this kind of stuff in 2-3 different counties. Listen, if I stay here, I'm gonna go back on my word and use drugs, and I'm gonna be locked right back up again, and I can't take that chance. So, you have to deal with whatever it is that's causing you to continue to be locked up. Or you're not gonna ever live the life that you intend to have, or that you want to have, because you locked up. You want to be free. You want to be able to go out the door and get fresh air when you want to. So, if you got a court date or something, go on and go to court. If you got time you need to serve, go on and serve it so you can be free. I was on the run. I was on the run for 12 years with my children. I had my children when I left. Because like I said, I was supposed to have been on probation for 2 years in 2 different towns. And I didn't. I didn't listen. I left. And that was my problem. I didn't like to obey authority. You need authority in your life, or you're going to wind up right in there. That's why it's called the Department of Correction. It's to correct your behavior. Listen to me again. It is called the Department of Corrections, to correct your behavior. It is something wrong with your behavior. It's why these people have placed you in jail. So correct your own behavior and you don't have to be confined. Listen to authority. This is why they have rules. This is why they have laws to govern this land. You can't live here and do whatever you want to do. If you go through the stop sign and the officer see, he gonna give you a ticket because you ran the stop sign. You were supposed to stop. If you didn't stop, you could have called an accident. This is why they have rules and regulations. You can't go here. You can't do that. You can't drive without a license. You got to have a license to drive. You got to have permission to do things in this earth realm. You can't just live like you want to live. No. Can you imagine? The world is already messed up right now. But if we didn't have the rules and the regulations that we have, people just be doing whatever they want to do. You can't live in a society like that. You can't live in a world like that. You got to have rules and you got to obey. If you don't, they got a place for you, which is called the Department of Corrections. Whatever state it is in, Illinois Department of Correction, Mississippi Department of Corrections, Tennessee Department of Correction. It's to correct your behavior, and they going to keep you there. And even while you in there, if you don't follow rules, they going to keep you there even longer. So just learn to obey. Learn to listen. It'll save your life. Obedience will save your life. Let me see. The lockdown with my abusers. Okay. So I was in an abusive relationship for many, 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 many years. And it was an oppression of itself. To the people that find themselves, and I spoke on this a couple of videos ago, in a domestic violence situation. It's a very touchy situation. It's a very, it deals with physical, mental, emotional abuse. And it's very difficult. But if you are in those situations, you can get out. I pray that you get out. Everybody don't make it out. If you have the opportunity, if you make up your mind to leave, when you make up your mind, you start working out a plan to leave. Stick to it. Don't be, all emotional. Don't be, when you leave, you got to make sure that you're ready to go. You got to make sure that you're ready to go through some hard stuff, because it's going to be hard. Because like I say, 9 times out of 10, the abuse is the one that's providing for you. They provide the house or whatever else you need. And then if you have children, it's extra hard. A lot of women have to leave their children behind. So it's a very tough situation. It's no easy answer for me to give you. All I can say is I pray that you get out. I pray that you make up your mind to get out. When you do get an opportunity to get out, seek help. Get somebody to help you. You know, and you may have to, you know, say goodbye to your family and your friends, your life, just so you can live. You know, you run that risk. Because if you stay close to home or stay close to your family, your abuser know you're gonna reach out to your family and friends, especially, you know, that's gonna be the first place that they go. Well, you seen such and such. You know, so a lot of people have to go in the hand. They have to change their name, have to change their children's name. And like I say, it's more difficult when you do have children, and that's mainly most of them you do have children, you know, because that's another form for them to keep you there, you know, so they keep you barefoot and pregnant. But you can get out. Use the battered women's shelters help. Use the police services help. You know, the court systems. They have put a lot of laws in place now for domestic violence situation, men and women, because they used to then lock them up. But then in the early 90s, they started passing laws that they lock them up and make them serve time in jail. When they locked up in jail, that's your time to run for your life. I'm talking about you get it and don't look back. You can't, it's going to be hard. It's not easy. It's going to be hard. It's not easy because if that's your children's father or children's mother, the kid's going to be wanting their parent because they don't really know what's going on. And so you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with talking to your children and telling them that, you know, mama can't go home. We can't go home right now. We got to stay here, and they going to show up. They going to rebel, but get them some counsel, get them some help because they don't understand, you know. So I just pray that, you know, you deserve better. It's never good for no one to put their hands on you and make you do what they tell them to do. You're not a child. Your parents have already raised you. So a grown person can't re-raise you. And they want you to be the way they want you to be. That's you know, that's not right. And it's something wrong with them, not us. So don't allow people to treat you that way. Don't allow people to talk to you any kind of way. Okay? The next question is, how do your kids feel about the abuse they saw, and how did they deal with it? Do it affect them today? How is their relationship with their dad? How my children feel about the relationship, about the abuse that they see me suffer from their father, and how do they deal with it? How does it affect them today? And how's their relationship? My children were scared. They used to be scared. You know, especially if somebody get to fight, anybody get to fight or whatever, they're always scared. And they would always say, Mama, you okay? But as they begin to get older, they would respond differently. Sometimes they'd be like, well, why you take that? And Dad, why you do this? And, you know, they would start asking us questions. I was the type of parent, I never told my children anything bad about their father. I left it open so they can form their own opinion of their father, because that's their father. I'm not going to down my children's father because I'm downing my children. They would see him for who he is when they got older. That was my whole thing. That's what I would always say. But I would always tell my daughters, don't let nobody treat you like that. Don't let nobody talk to you like that. And so as I began to get stronger and gain my own independence, and I began to fight back and you know, and start standing and say, I'm not going to take this and take that. And then I will be able to tell my children, this is not how you're supposed to live. This is not how a man is supposed to act. This is not a way a woman is supposed to act. And so as I grew stronger, I can teach them better. How it affect them today? My children, okay, they are different. They different. They don't really deal with a lot of people, like have a lot of close friends and things like that, and mainly because I don't. And they was taught like that. I taught them that y'all have each other. Y'all depend on each other. Y'all help each other. Y'all are all you have. We are all we have. You know, we all we got. As long as we got each other, we got everything. So they do have a couple of friendships, but I'm not talking about a whole big circle of friends. So they somewhat they stick to themselves. Um, some of them are no nonsense, don't deal with nothing. They're not gonna tolerate you talking to them any kind of way. They're not gonna tolerate you putting your hands on them. They're not gonna tolerate disrespect in no kind of way. They'll end a relationship in a heartbeat. And I always tell them, I wish I was strong like y'all. At y'all age, I really do. I wish I was strong like y'all. Because I caused you more harm than good by staying in a relationship because I wanted my children to be around their father. And I apologize to them all the time. I tell my children all the time, I'm sorry, I caused y'all more harm than good. Sometimes I think it would have been better off if I just left early, you know, and they didn't suffer years and years and years of seeing me abused and they daddy showing out and this in jail and all this different type of stuff, drug use, me disappearing for days and weeks at a time, and it was a lot. It was a lot. And so like I said in previous videos, our relationship is getting better. Because they having a better understanding. Because I didn't sit down and tell my children a lot of things. They didn't find out my life story until you found out when I started writing my books. When my books came out, that's when I really went into detail about a lot of things about my life. Because like I said, I don't sit up and talk bad about my children's father because that's down to your children. You should never ever do that. You should never ever down another person, even if they do treat you bad. You give the next person the responsibility of forming their own opinion of others. So I don't assassinate other people's character just so people can side with me. And then these my children. So I'm not gonna sit up and dishonor their parent, their other parent, because they horrible to me. He wasn't horrible to the children, beating on the children. He was horrible to me. But as things got older, then they asked how their relationship now. As my children begin to get older into their teen years, and they begin to understand that it's wrong for their father to hit on their mother, they had a problem with it, and they would confront them. They would confront him. And and I thank God today, my boys, they loving, they kind. They wasn't abusive to, even my son that passed, they wasn't abusive toward women. They was real gentlemen. You understand? Because I just kept loving on my children and telling them this how a man is supposed to act, this how you supposed to treat a lady, and they love me and their father. I never wanted them to choose between a parent. You shouldn't have to choose between a parent. That's why I never downed a parent. But as they begin to get older, they begin to start seeing their father for how he really was. And I'll just say, that's still your daddy. That's still your daddy. The Bible say, honor your mother, your father, and your days will go well with you. And I still tell them that today. I say, if you want your days to go well with you and you want your life to be in order and be successful and be in peace, you have to honor your mother and your father. Now, you may not have to be in a close relationship with them if they doing something to you or they doing something to hurt you in some type of way, but you still have to honor them. And so when maybe about 5 years ago, I just kept on my children grown. My oldest child about to be 32 years old. Okay, so I continue to tell my children, you need to be in a relationship with your father. I don't care what he do, what he say, you still forgive him, because that's the way I am. And so about 5 years ago, my two oldest children, they sat me down and they said, Mom, let me tell, we want to talk to you. We really want to talk to you. We know that you always trying to stay in relationship with dad just so we can have a relationship with him, but we will be okay if he don't call us or talk to us. We will be okay. We don't want you to feel like you have to still be in relationship with him so we can have a relationship. We grown. We make our own decisions. We thank you for keeping us in contact and teaching us right from wrong. But we're grown now to make our own decisions. And I cried and I said, will y'all really be okay? Because I just felt like if I didn't keep the relationship going, that it would fall apart, that they just wouldn't have no dealings with their father. And sadly to say, they not real close. especially my girls. My boys, yeah, they love their father, they still close to their father, but my girls, they have a different view. And it's something because they had a breakdown in their relationships with their father. It didn't have anything to do with me or me and their father relationship as women, as being children, and he being a father. They had a breakdown in their relationship. You understand? And so I stay out of it. I try to talk to my children. I try to talk to the daddy, like, y'all really need to work this out because that's still your child. That's still your, your father. But they have free will. And so my job is to just pray for them. So it affect their relationship with their father. It affect their life today because my children have children. You understand? And they always wanted their children to have two grandparents and they be close. So I'm very close to all of my grandchildren. He close to some of the grandchildren. I still talk to him today. I just have a more forgiving heart because I have a lot more wisdom and biblical understanding, walking with the